Sorry, I'm singing a little Bomberman 64 for you guys this morning. But I wanted to talk about the hilariousness that is Joc Pederson and that was Joc Pederson last night. So the Cubs and the Dodgers were tied 3-3, I believe. There was a guy on second and third, and that was the play. Guys are tied. The game was tied. And Joc Pederson, I'll just look it up, but Joc Pederson made an absolute buffoon of himself. He basically did a bat flip on a sac fly. And the thing is the female, I can't remember her name. She's awesome. The female Sunday Night Baseball lady, she's great. And she basically was saying how, like, Joc Pederson, he's envisioned this, going off on his own team. No way. Cubs baseball uploaded this clip to YouTube themselves. Hold on. Oh, I wish you guys could see it. I'm just going to watch it. I'm going to watch it I just watched it, which is what made me do this video. But, Joc Pederson's batting like 143 this year. Swing and a drive. Kenley Jansen. Hold on. All right. So they were down 4-3. Okay. Full breakdown. Bottom of the 10th inning. Kenley Jansen's on the bump. Okay. So you're down 1. You're facing your former team. 2 men in scoring position. And you just smoked the ball. Swing and a drive. There's the bat flip. And the ball barely makes it to the warning track. Mookie Betts makes the incredibly easy out. Now, the guy from third does gingerly jog in to cross home plate and score, so the game is tied. But that's not the issue. The issue is Joc Pederson thought he had just a 3-run blast and that the Cubs had won by 2. In reality, all he did was tie the game with a sac fly. And he did the most ridiculous bat flip you've ever seen. Like, he was so happy for himself. And, I would be not disgusted if Joc Pederson didn't absolutely suck ass. But I'm a little frankly disgusted. He went 1 for 3 last night, which actually bumped his average. Bumped. Not because he's been hurt, but that it doesn't matter. He was already doing so bad. But his 1 for 3 last night actually bumped his batting average from 132 to 143 on the season. So if you're Joc Pederson, not only do you have this incredibly embarrassing moment on your resume now, but you're still currently hitting under 150. I have a very good friend, Jacob, that just is lifelong Dodgers fan. And when Joc Pederson was on the Dodgers, he really liked him. I think he has a Joc Pederson jersey. Maybe he even has his autograph. He's a big Joc Pederson fan. There's even this girl that I had a college class with, and funny enough, like I didn't have a class there. I worked with her. We just happened to have the same major. Anyway, she was telling me at work the one day how, like, Joc Pederson's her favorite player. And, like, that's cool. Like, if you've, like, met him and got his autograph, like, certainly you're going to cheer for him. I'm not going to, like, just totally destroy this guy. But you're a career 229 hitter. That's just not good enough. In today's day and age where guys like Brad Miller can hit 30 home runs, and you're asking, who's Brad Miller? Exactly. Go look him up. When guys like Brad Miller can hit 30 home runs in a season as a second baseman, it doesn't impress me that Joc Pederson can hit 30 home runs. You're an outfielder who hits less than 230, dude. Are you serious? Like, your outfielder should be some of your best hitters, not your absolute worst. Where's his baseball reference? This is taking far too long. And again, I've made this argument before, but if baseball reference is in the top 3 things that come up when you Google your name, you're probably not a good baseball player. Like, I wonder if Joc Pederson, because Joc Pederson has enough money, if he wanted to, he could manipulate the searches that come up, and he's probably just pushed his baseball reference page off the whatever comes up first, because that's when you get to realize this guy stinks. He hit 212 in 102 games for the Dodgers in 2017. He hit, he hit 190 last year. He was an all-star. Okay. Grant me this. This just goes to show, and again, my friend Jacob gets all upset about Fernando Tatis being like this hyped up guy. Are you kidding me? Joc Pederson was an all-star in 2015. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year. Now I can guarantee that there weren't 5 other rookies that made the all-star team that year. And in fact, I bet that Joc Pederson was one of, if not the only rookie to make the all-star team that year. But he finished 6th in Rookie of the Year because he stinks. And just overhyped, overrated. And so he followed that up by actually hitting 246 to follow me. Wait a minute. You're telling me this guy made the All-Star team and he batted 210? He batted 210 and made the All-Star team? That's got to be a record. You can take all the Fernando Tatis Jr. hype you want. There has never been a guy that doesn't play defense that made the All-Star game batting 210. Now, obviously, he probably fell off a cliff. He was probably hitting better than that before the All-Star break. We get all that. That doesn't take away the fact that he finished the season as an All-Star batting 210. That's got to be a record. It has to be. I refuse to believe that anyone's had a worse average in a year that they were an all-star. So then he follows that up by actually doing well. He hit 246 at 25 bombs. He should have been higher up in the lineup maybe, but the Dodgers were so stacked. He had a career high 68 RBIs. His career high in RBIs wouldn't be – okay, so, obviously – he's not going to hit for average. He's after the 212. He does get up to 248. And then the next year, 249, while hitting 36 homers and 74 RBI. So maybe Joc Pederson just hasn't gotten back to where he was. Obviously, last year was really crazy. He only played a handful of games because of COVID. And then this year, like I said, he's been hurt. He just got activated off the injured list. So I'm not going to harp on him for being injured, but holy crap. I want to see if I can. No, is it not going to let me do that? Well, okay. Either way, it just shows. The guy's hitting 175 over the last 60 games or whatever it is. That's really bad. So, I don't. I guess we could try and look up his contract, huh? Because I'm assuming he signed as a free agent with the Cubs or Joc Pederson reached out to Cubs before a deal. Yeah, no crap, because no one wanted this guy. He had to be his own it just goes to show what the Cubs are. Why did they get rid of why did they get rid of their GM and president? Why did they do that? I really want to know. Theo Epstein, what are you doing right now that you can't save this team? Is it just that he had seen enough? He had just gone. Theo Epstein's dude, I'm going to retire. I'm 40. Yeah, he's 47. Theo Epstein's not even 50 yet. Oh, my God. As a former American baseball vice president and GM of the Boston Red Sox, and later an executive who was the president of baseball operations for the Chicago Cubs, he served on both teams each for 9 seasons. So he put in 9 seasons each, and he came away with 3 rings for the 2 most cursed teams, and not even in baseball, but all of sports. Theo Epstein's the GOAT. I can't believe it. He stepped down as president in 2020. Jed Hoyer took over. MLB hired Epstein in January 2021 as a consultant for on-field matters. So is more than winning championships for teams and becoming beloved, is working for the MLB front office somehow more prestigious? I'm not kidding. Would that be the natural progression? You work for teams and then you work for the league itself? I don't know. Anyway, Pederson bets on himself in choosing Cubs. Yeah, no crap. He bet on himself to hit the home run last night. That's why I did the bat flip. This guy's an idiot. This guy is a freaking idiot. Yeah, and he talked to this Jeb Hoyer guy too. So he never dealt with Theo Epstein. No surprise. You think Theo Epstein would have let this guy anywhere near the Chicago Cubs? Anywhere near the Chicago Cubs. Oh, yeah. Longtime member of the Dodgers. Pederson explained in an article to the Players Tribune that he had other teams offering pretty great money to be a part of their outfield platoon. Instead, Pederson was hoping to find a team willing to let him bet on himself as a lineup regular. Dude. So you're telling me teams offered him more money to just do what he does, which is, I'm assuming, hit righties because he's a left-handed hitter, and I'm assuming that lefties just jam him up, and that's why he's hitting 140 whatever. Why he would take less money to play more games to potentially get hurt to then make less money in the long run is this guy is an idiot. I don't think I didn't come away. I didn't think I was gonna come away with like proof. God, I love doing these videos, you guys. I got off on, I don't know, the formula to these baseball videos, like particularly with baseball. I don't know what it is, but you just because baseball has become such a regional sport, and I know it's harder for a lot of people to hear, but it's true. Like until last season when I think last season was actually good for baseball because it made people miss out on what's so great about it is spending an entire summer just the ups and downs of your team and all that. I feel like a lot of people missed out on that, and so now they're actually caring about baseball again, and that's awesome. I'm really excited to see it, but it is still a regional sport. And so that's how you have these things that just get completely swept under the rug. And I swear to God, there is a formula where if I just hang out long enough and start looking through stuff, guys just pwn themselves basically. And sometimes it's not all them. It's just the team signed him to a terrible contract. We didn't even get the specifics of this guy's deal, just that he's an idiot. So yeah, it reminds me of the Matt Bush video I did, that I did twice, where I thought I was going to come, I just had seen this guy that was his former number one pick, and it took him 15 years to make the bigs. I assumed, oh, this is a great story. This is like a story of redemption, and I forget his name already. There's another guy like that, and maybe it's good. I won't spoil it. There's another guy like that, Mark Appel, I think, and he's probably is a good story, but Matt Bush is not a good story. And maybe I did as much digging as I could, and unless I could see an interview of him today and he absolutely blew my doors off, I'm just pretty sure Matt Bush is just not a good person. And I wouldn't have known that had I and so I don't know, just the baseball videos in particular. I've obviously teased for weeks now about an NFL video and doing other things, but starting with the contracts and then just working my way through these different things, and again, watching baseball every day now that we have this ability back, I've never enjoyed it more, and the everyday happenings, and it's awesome. I have my friend Jerry that says, oh, how many games are left? It's dude, okay, so the NHL is obviously the best when it's in the playoffs, it's so intense, but this year, for me personally, the NHL regular season is completely bunk. Not only are they not playing the regular 82, which who cares? If you're playing 75 or 82 or 70 instead of 82, that's not a big difference. When you played 40 instead of 162 Major League Baseball games last year, that was a huge difference. It just ruined the regular season. But this season, the regular season for the NHL hasn't been ruined by the amount of games. It's the fact that they're playing solely within their divisions. Okay, so for the Canadian teams, it's cool because all the Canadian teams are just beating up on each other, and it's all Canada hockey, and that's awesome. But for the fact that, I think I've mentioned this before, but for the fact that the Ducks have to play the same four teams 15 times each, they have no chance. The Ducks had very little chance, and then they had no chance once these teams were just going to be able to beat up on them 10, 15 times this year. But yeah, like there actually is something. So just because the NHL is an exciting postseason, which it might have the most exciting, there's no doubt that like there's something to be said. Like again, especially because we didn't get it last year, there's something to be said about 162 games. Like there's a reason they haven't like shortened the season. Like and if anything, they've only made it longer over years because like that's just the way it is. Like you just need those ebbs and flows of a baseball season. Joc Pederson, if I don't find out how much money you actually make in the next 5 seconds, oh my God. Yeah, he bet on himself for a 1-year, $7 million deal, so we'll see. A mutual option that includes a $2.5 million buyout for 2022. Are you kidding me? So they're going to have to pay him $2.5 million to go away next year? My God, Cubs, what were you thinking? Again, this is just not a deal Theo Epstein would have made. I'm certain of it. I am certain of it. And it's laughable because of how much money is in. I think we get confused too. The guys that have those insane contracts, obviously, like that's just so much money, and it's probably. I think the NBA players make the most money, like overall, but there's no reaching the heights of like the Mike Trout contract. But $10 million option for 2022 is nothing to sneeze at. If the Cubs let that happen, that's a disgrace. That's almost worse than the Elvis Andrus thing. Like I was being a little funny about the Elvis Andrus thing on Monday, I believe, because it's just funny how little the Oakland Athletics spend, and to think that they are giving Elvis Andrus $8 million and like he's their most expensive player. But like, come on, Joc Pederson stinks. He had an excellent 2019. Well, okay, for his standards, he had an excellent 2019 because he hit like 250, belted 35 home runs. But let's go ahead. I don't think Brad Miller officially ever won the Aaron Hill award, but let's see what his average was the year that he hit those 30 home runs. Brad Miller's a very ugly man, by the way. I used to think he was a normal looking. No, he's an ugly looking guy. And this is coming from a 5 at best, so very ugly. Brad Miller's actually with the Philadelphia Phillies. I remember my friend Dylan saying that. So the year he hit 30, like, dude, like, come on, Joc Pederson. You're telling me your best season basically was Brad Miller's best season. Brad Miller had 30 home runs, 81 RBIs, and bat 243. Those are the most Joc Pederson-like numbers. In fact, Joc Pederson put up Brad Miller-like numbers. It wasn't the other way around because Brad Miller did it first. The disgust. I'm wrapping up here. Just want to look at these Joc Pederson stats one more time. Oh, you guys, I'm happy to be alive. I was struggling last night. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to know that Joc Pederson is doing bat flips on sac flies. I'm just, if I can be happy, that's what makes me happy. Okay, and then finally, one last look. In his penultimate, or whatever you want to call it, in his grand season, his 2019, he's still, I don't know, like, was he batting like 7th in the lineup? Because Joc Pederson still only ended up with 74 RBIs. So, Brad Miller, okay? I want you guys, this is the nugget for today. Joc Pederson has never driven in more runs in a season than Brad Miller. Brad Miller currently has 81 RBIs in the year 2016. Joc Pederson has 74 in 2019. Let that sink in for you. Joc Pederson has never driven in more runs in a season than Brad Miller's 2016. And that's what I'll leave you guys with. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. It was a blast. It was a pleasure. I'm sorry for looking like such a dirtball, but I rolled out of bed and the first thing I saw was this Joc Pederson thing, and I just had to share it with you guys. So thank you. It's been, like I said, it's been a blast. It's been a pleasure. I'll be back probably tomorrow with another video to close out the week. I feel like this one went really, really well. Now, if the playback is just terrible and it's cutting me in and out, that's fine. But because of those of you that joined me on the live stream, I think we had a lot of fun today. So thank you. Love you guys. And I will catch you on the next one. All right. We'll see.